Small businesses in Australia are in a cash flow crisis, with many shutting their doors for good. We've seen it over the last couple of years here in the ACT. Even before COVID destroyed the economy, business owners were struggling to get paid on time. And it's a bit of a vicious cycle. If the customer doesn't pay you when you're in business, you can't pay your suppliers, you can't pay your staff, and the cycle continues. So what do you do about this? Alex Martin is a business lawyer from Taurus Legal Management and joins us on the line. Alex, good to have you back.
Good morning, Stephen. It's great to be back.
This is an age-old story that businesses struggle. If they can't get paid, they can't pay their bills. I imagine that's only been exacerbated in the last few years, though.
Yes, that's right. I think a lot of businesses were struggling even before COVID, and certainly COVID's, but depending on the industry you're in and the location you are in, COVID's really exacerbated that for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, good management, good business management is the same pre-COVID as it is post-COVID. And if you take the right steps, I think there's a lot a business owner can do to improve their cash flow.
Well, let's talk about that, because you've talked about the answer lying in better education and management by business owners. How do you... I guess, largely you're at the mercy of your customers and your debtors to pay their bills. How does your management affect that?
Yes, well, great question. So there's a number of things you can do, often common sense things you can do as a business owner. Ultimately, you don't have to deal with, you choose which customers to deal with. So the first issue would be making sure that you're dealing with customers that understand your value and that are in the right industries and that are likely to have cash to pay you. And then if you can't do that, you can certainly get some payment up front. I know it seems to be obvious, but a lot of businesses out there, invoice at the end of the month and just hope for the best when they could be getting, all of their services paid for up front, or they could be getting a deposit, or they could be getting the materials paid for, or some amount up front, which makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I guess that's the reality of it, is that you do see a lot of businesses sort of chase good money after bad by letting customers rack up debt after debt after debt. But I imagine when you're doing it tough, you probably, I guess you find yourself in a bit of a desperate situation and you just think it's going to get better.
Yes, I think that's right. I think sometimes when you're really struggling to find the next customer, you might give them a better deal, or you might say, oh, look, you can pay it all at the end, or I might take this job even though you owe me some money already. I might just keep working for you because I don't want to, I want to have something to do. I suppose with what I'm counselling and what I'm telling my clients to do and what I'm telling the public to do is really that's a vicious cycle that you need to stop. If someone owes you money, you've got to stop working for them and really work for people who are going to pay you, because cash flow is the lifeblood of small business. And if you're throwing good money after bad, as you put it, I think you're in real trouble.
One of the things that concerns me, you often see a lot of businesses that, I guess, underwrite cash flow and the like. And I'm always concerned that that's creating a bigger problem than the one you had in the first place.
Yes, that's certainly true. Effectively, when you agree to do work for a customer, whether that's services or supply them goods or whatever, you're lending them money, you're giving them credit. So you've got to make a smart decision about who you're offering credit and the terms on which you're offering credit. You need a follow-up system. You need to really be on top of who you're lending money to.
Yeah, it's interesting when you put it like that. That is exactly what it is, but I don't know that that's terminology that most people would think first up.
Yeah, that's right. I think the natural course for most business owners are good at whatever it is they do. They're good, they're good plumbers, they're good salespeople, whatever it is that they do. But the business side, the management of the business side might be not come naturally to them, and so they might go and do their plumbing work and then just send an invoice at the end of the month and hope for the best. And I suppose I'm saying that that's real trouble. What you're doing when you do work for someone, and sometimes you might buy materials. Say in the plumber example, you might buy the tapware or whatever yourself. So you've actually put your hand in your pocket and paid for things, and then you invoice at the end of the month and hope the customer pays you. You're actually lending the customer money. And I'd say, well, in that case, why wouldn't you just say to the customer, look, I've got to buy some tapware. That'll be $1,000. I'll have the $1,000 up front, and then I'll do the work for you once the tapware's paid for. And I think most customers would understand that.
It's interesting you say that, because I've often said that the best plumber in the world, when he's driving around in his van fixing taps, might be a great tradesman, but as soon as he buys that second van and puts another person in it, it becomes a different proposition. But there'd be a lot of tradesmen out there that say, well, look, I don't have the time to go out and learn how to manage a business as well as do what I'm doing. What advice do you have for people in that situation?
Yes, I can totally understand that, and I completely agree. We've got I've had a lot of clients over the years who are, great, but as soon as they buy that second van, as you put it, then they're really they're managing someone else is a totally different proposition. I suppose I'd say if you'd rather work for someone else, you should. If you don't want to manage a business, then don't. But if you do want to manage a business, there's a lot of simple tips that you can employ. It's not complicated. I mean, I've got, you can watch a video that I've done on my YouTube, which has a 5-point plan of, improving your cash flow. It's actually pretty common sense. It's getting paid up front if you can. It's invoicing early, invoicing often, following people up. Reviewing who you're doing business with and the terms on which you're doing business. They're all pretty straightforward steps, and I think anyone can follow them. Yeah,
it's interesting you say that, because an old mentor of mine once said that business is about money in, money out, and money left over, and once you grasp that, everything else sort of falls into place.
Yes, business is not rocket science, as they say. It is fairly straightforward, and I think if you're going to run a business, then you've got to really understand the basics, and then you're ultimately going to have a better life. I think if I'm working, I want to be paid for it, so that I can, if I'm spending time away from my family and friends and the things I love in order to help someone else, I just want to make sure that I get some value for that. And I think that's perfectly common sense, perfectly reasonable. And I think if you explain it to customers, they'll understand and they'll respect you more for it.
That's the mistake we all make in radio. We all do it for free. Alex, good to talk to you, mate. We'll catch up again soon.
All right. Thanks, Stephen. Nice to be on again.
All the best. Alex Martin, he's a business lawyer and litigation specialist from Taurus Legal Management. It is almost 16 past 6.